Kylie Jenner just proved everything we've been saying about her relationship with Timothée Chalamet, and honestly, it's getting concerning. She spent Thanksgiving dropping cryptic clues trying to convince everyone that Timothee was with her, but couldn't post a single actual photo of them together. And now sources are claiming she's taking extreme measures to keep tabs on him, possibly even hiring people to follow him around and report back on what he's doing. This isn't just about a celebrity relationship anymore. This is about someone who's so desperate to hold on to a man who won't even publicly claim her that she's potentially crossing into obsessive territory. So let's break down what's really happening here and why this situation is way more problematic than people realize. Before we dive into this mess, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we're covering all the celebrity drama that goes deeper than the surface level gossip. Trust me, this story reveals something really important about relationships, self-worth, and knowing when to walk away. Now, let's get into it. Thanksgiving just passed, and while most celebrities were posting photos with their families and loved ones, Kylie Jenner was playing detective, dropping breadcrumbs and hints trying to suggest that Timothée Chalamet spent the holiday with her. But here's the thing. She didn't post any actual photos of them together. Not one. Instead, we got cryptic posts, strategic angles, and allegedly even Hailey Bieber posting some kind of hint that Timothee was there. And the desperation of it all is honestly heartbreaking. Because here's what everyone needs to understand. If Timothée Chalamet actually spent Thanksgiving with Kylie Jenner, she would have been shouting it from the rooftops. This is a woman who documents every aspect of her life on social media. She posts her kids, her cars, her makeup, her outfits, her friends, everything. The idea that she would suddenly become private and subtle about her boyfriend being with her on a major holiday makes absolutely no sense unless there's a reason she can't be direct about it. And that reason is probably because he wasn't actually there. But let's say for the sake of argument that he was there. Let's say Timothee did show up for Thanksgiving at the Kardashian-Jenner gathering. Even if that's true, how is that a win for Kylie? How is it a victory that your boyfriend of over a year refuses to be photographed with you at family events? How is it acceptable that he's so embarrassed or unwilling to publicly acknowledge your relationship that you have to resort to dropping clues like you're running some kind of scavenger hunt for your followers? The answer is it's not a win. It's actually really sad. And what makes it even sadder is that there are probably a lot of women watching this situation and defending it because they're in similar dynamics in their own lives. They're with men who keep them as options, who refuse to fully commit, who are happy to enjoy all the benefits of the relationship privately while refusing to claim them publicly. And they've convinced themselves that's normal, that's just how modern relationships work, that privacy is healthy. But there's a difference between privacy and secrecy, and what Timothee is doing to Kylie is keeping her a secret. Let's look at the pattern here. Timothée Chalamet did not show up to Kylie's birthday party. He was nowhere to be seen. He didn't attend Kris Jenner's 70th birthday party, a massive family event that basically everyone in their circle attended. He allegedly wasn't at Thanksgiving, or if he was, he made sure there was no evidence of it. He has never publicly supported any of Kylie's businesses. He's never given an interview where he even acknowledges being in a relationship, let alone being happy. The most he's done is let himself be photographed with her occasionally when it benefits his publicity. And that's the key word here, publicity. Because what Timothee is getting out of this relationship is clear. He's getting access to one of the most famous families in the world. He's getting his name constantly in the press. He's getting photographed and talked about in ways that keep him relevant between movie projects. And all of this is happening on Kylie's dime, literally. She flies across the world on her private jet to see him. She shows up to his events. She supports his career. She gives him endless free publicity through her massive platform. And what does she get in return? A man who won't even say, "I'm very happy" in an interview. That's the part that should bother everyone. He doesn't even have to say her name. He doesn't even have to confirm they're together. All he would have to do is say, "I'm in a really happy place right now in my personal life." And that would be enough. But he won't even do that. And by refusing to do even that bare minimum, he's sending a message to everyone in Hollywood, everyone in the industry, everyone who might work with Kylie or take meetings with her. He's saying she's not important. She's disposable. She's a plaything. You don't have to take her seriously, because I don't. And that's devastating because Kylie has spent years trying to be taken seriously as a businesswoman, as an entrepreneur, as more than just a reality TV star. And here comes this man who's using her for everything she can give him, while simultaneously undermining her credibility by refusing to legitimize their relationship. Now let's talk about what sources are claiming is happening behind the scenes, because this is where things get really concerning. According to insiders, Kylie knows the relationship is hanging by a thread. Timothee is in full Oscar campaign mode right now for his movie projects, and he has very little time for her. He's allegedly blowing her off a lot when she asks to hang out, and Kylie is trying to play it cool, trying to act like everything is fine, but deep down she knows it's not looking good. And here's where the obsessive behavior comes in. Her biggest fear, apparently, is that Timothee will fall for someone else while they're spending so much time apart. Women are constantly throwing themselves at him. He's getting more famous, more in demand, more surrounded by beautiful, talented actresses and industry people. And Kylie is terrified that she's going to lose him to someone else. So instead of having the self-respect to walk away from someone who clearly doesn't value her, instead of confronting him and giving him an ultimatum, she's reportedly taking extreme measures to keep tabs on him. Sources claim she's hired people to follow him around and report back on what he's doing, where he's going, who he's with. If that's true, and I'm inclined to believe it is based on Kylie's history, that's not love. That's not even healthy attachment. That's obsession. That's someone who's so afraid of abandonment, so desperate to hold on to something that was never really hers to begin with, that she's willing to cross serious boundaries to maintain the illusion of control. And this fits into a pattern we've seen with Kylie before. She has a history of morphing into whoever her boyfriend's exes are, almost like she's trying to become them or compete with them or prove she's better. When she was with Tyga, she started looking and acting more like Blac Chyna. When she was with Travis Scott, she took on characteristics and aesthetics similar to his ex, Young Sweet Ro. And now with Timothee, she's literally stolen Lily Rose Depp's entire aesthetic. The face, the poses, the whole rich, artistic, European cinema girl with a movie star dad and rock star mom vibe. Kylie has adopted all of it. That's not normal. That's not just being influenced by the people you date. That's losing yourself completely in an attempt to become what you think will make them stay. And it never works because the problem isn't that you're not enough like the ex. The problem is that the person you're with doesn't actually want to be with you in a real, committed, public way. Kylie also has a pattern of not being able to let go of relationships until she finds someone new to fixate on. She couldn't let go of Tyga until Travis came along. She couldn't fully let go of Travis until Timothee entered the picture. And now she's clinging to Timothee, even though all signs point to him being checked out, because she doesn't have a replacement lined up yet. That's codependency. That's not healthy relationship behavior. The saddest part of all of this is that Kylie is one of the wealthiest, most famous, most successful young women in the world. She has businesses, she has her kids, she has family. She has resources that most people could never dream of. And yet she's begging for scraps of attention from a man who won't even acknowledge her existence publicly. She's literally in the same position as women who've been with their baby daddies for 14 years and finally get so desperate for commitment that they propose themselves. It's the same energy. It's the same lack of self-worth disguised as love. And I know some people are going to say, well, maybe they just want privacy. Maybe they don't believe in publicizing their relationship. But that doesn't hold up when you look at the facts. Kylie is extremely public about every other aspect of her life. Timothee has been public about past relationships. This isn't about privacy. This is about him not wanting to be tied to her in any permanent or serious way. This is about him keeping his options open while still benefiting from everything she provides. The gossip account Du Memoir, which works closely with the Kardashian publicity machine, came out and said it was confirmed that Kylie and Timothee spent Thanksgiving together. But even they had to use the word allegedly in the same breath. If it's confirmed, why is it still alleged? Why can't they stand on business and just say definitively that they were together? Because they can't. Because even the people whose job it is to manage the Kardashians' public image know they can't make definitive statements about a relationship that Timothee refuses to acknowledge. The whole thing is embarrassing. And what's more embarrassing is watching people defend it. Watching people say, see, they're still together, they're fine, as if being together with someone who treats you like a secret is some kind of achievement. Being together isn't the goal. Being valued, being respected, being publicly claimed and celebrated, that's the goal. And Kylie is getting none of that. If Timothee really cared about her, if he really saw a future with her, he would show up. He would be at her birthday. He would be at her family events. He would say in interviews that he's happy. He would post her on his social media occasionally. He would do literally anything to show that she matters to him. But he doesn't do any of those things because she doesn't matter to him in that way. She matters as a convenience, as a publicity tool, as someone who makes his life easier and his profile bigger. But as a partner, as someone he's building a future with, she doesn't register. And the fact that Kylie is allegedly now resorting to having him followed, to tracking his movements, to obsessing over whether he's going to leave her for someone else, that tells you everything you need to know about the state of this relationship. When you're secure in your relationship, when you trust your partner, when you feel valued and respected, you don't do those things. You don't need to because you know where you stand. Kylie knows where she stands. She knows he's not fully in. She knows he's using her. She knows he's embarrassed to claim her. And instead of having the self-respect to walk away, she's doubling down, trying harder, becoming more desperate. And that's what happens when you mistake attention for love, when you mistake proximity for partnership, when you mistake being used for being valued. So here's what I want everyone watching this to understand, whether you're a Kylie fan or not. This situation is a cautionary tale. This is what it looks like when you accept less than you deserve because you're so focused on holding on to someone that you forget to ask yourself whether they're even worth holding on to. This is what happens when you let fear of being alone override your standards and your self-worth. Kylie Jenner doesn't need Timothée Chalamet. She doesn't need any man. She's accomplished more in her 20s than most people accomplish in a lifetime. She has everything she could possibly need to be happy, fulfilled, and successful. Except apparently, she doesn't have the one thing that money can't buy, which is the ability to know when to walk away from something that's not serving her. And until she learns that lesson, until she opens her eyes and realizes that being with someone who treats you like an inconvenience is worse than being alone, she's going to keep ending up in these same patterns with different men. She's going to keep morphing into whoever she thinks they want her to be. She's going to keep chasing, stalking, obsessing, and losing herself in the process. I genuinely hope Kylie finds the strength to walk away from this situation. I hope she realizes that she deserves someone who's proud to be with her, who shows up for her, who claims her publicly and treats her like the prize she is. Because right now, she's giving away her power, her dignity, and her self-respect to someone who doesn't even have the decency to say he's happy to be with her. And that's not love. That's not even close.
So, what do you think?
Is Kylie being used, or are people reading too much into the situation? Let me know in the comments, and make sure you're subscribed for more celebrity breakdowns.